Hi, this is Kathy, and I'm back to show you another card from using stamps from the new 2019 Occasions catalog. This uses the Beauty Abounds stamp set, and I won this during Prize Patrol. It was not something that caught my eye at first, but I have really fallen in love with this stamp set. So I'm going to show you a few tips and tricks for doing this. And if you are a ScanNCut user, or you might be able to do this with a Cricut or Silhouette as well, I'm going to show or discuss with you exactly how I cut these flourishes out and have it set up to cut anytime I want them. And then, so here's the inside of the card. Now on the inside of the card, I originally just had the butterflies here with this butterfly, and I thought, that's kind of plain. And so it was kind of like that, and I thought, maybe a little bit plain. So I put another one of the flourishes here, and then I decided that's a little bit busy. So I've come up with another idea using these exact same pieces, and I'm going to show you that on the card we're assembling today. So now you can get a couple of different ideas. So let's get started. For cardstock, you'll need a piece of Highland Heather that measures 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches. A piece of Whisper White for the inside that measures 4 inches by 5.25 inches. A piece of Granny Apple Green that measures 4.25 inches by 3.25 inches. And here's your first tip. I cut out these two flourishes that come in the die set that coordinates. And let's see, it's called the Butterfly Beauty framelits. It's this one here. And I actually had cut them out on a different strip, but this piece here will be hidden. So you could actually cut these out of the center and not use any additional paper. So there's your first tip. The Botanical Butterflies Designer Series paper from the Celebration catalog. I am just in love with this paper. So I'm going to be stocking up on a lot of this, but this little piece measures 4 by 3, and then you'll have a vellum piece that measures 3 3/4 by 2 3/4. This is another of the patterns from that Botanical Butterfly DSP from the Celebrations catalog, and it measures 4 inches by 1 inch. And then finally, this is a 5-inch piece of the Gorgeous Grape 1/4 inch mini striped ribbon. And then I have some stamp pieces and cut already, but I'll explain them. You'll want some Whisper White, large enough to stamp 2 little butterflies from the Beauty Abound stamp set with Memento ink, so you can color them with the blends. And then these, I'm going to show you exactly what I did and how I created it on my ScanNCut. So here's what I do with my ScanNCut in order to be able to get these cut out with having to fussy cut every time. So the first thing I do is I stamp it onto a piece of Whisper White in a dark color. Usually I use the Memento Black or something. Now in this case, I have all these little dots, and I want to keep those with my image. And I see here that I didn't get a very good stamping right there on that leaf. So I want to just catch it with my pen. And then here I'm just going to catch with my pen and include those dots into my image. So here I'll connect these dots. It's like playing dot to dot here. And I'll come around and connect that up so it becomes even. Here I'll do the same thing. Sometimes I'll come in so it gives it a little bit more shape. Sometimes I won't. That's just up to you. So I'm going to bring this one in and connect it up over here. And I just want to make sure that my line goes everywhere I want it to. This little thinness here, I would want to thicken up just so that I get a really good matting for it and image. So I'll go through and on these swirls and kind of thicken them just a tad bit. And so once I do that, I have it ready to go on to my ScanNCut. Again, even in here, this is real important to make sure that this this stem piece right here is thick. I did have issues with that one and this one right in here. So I just thicken those up. So I'm going to just go ahead and catch this whole stem. Just make sure that those are nice and thick. Okay, so this is ready to go in. And I'll go in and I'll scan that into my ScanNCut. And look at it and make sure it kind of is in the shape that I want. And then I'm going to tell it to mat it. So where it's actually cutting is this outside, giving me this little bit of a matting all the way around. So I will tell it to do that. And then instead of cutting it out, although I could cut it out just to check and make sure it's cutting exactly the way I want it to, on my mat, say if this is the location it's on my mat, we'll use these lines as an example. I'm going to take this away, and in its place, I'm just going to grab a piece of cardstock, but I normally would take either basic black or something else that's real dark. A lot of times I use my retired cardstock for this, and because I can't use it for other things, so this is a perfect thing. Or at least I can't use it for classes. Anyway, and then I tell it to cut out of that. So this is what I actually did with an old color that we had. I think this is Blackberry Bliss. So as you can see, it's all cut out based upon this design that I came up with. So I have this, I then scan it into my ScanNCut again and save this as a cut file. Now I've got that in my machine as a cut file. The first thing I'll do is then get some of the Designer Series paper backing. This is the white heavier stock piece. And I will have it cut that out of this piece. And this becomes my template for inside my Stamparatus. Okay, so I've got that cut. Then I can take a piece of paper, and like here, I took a piece of Whisper White, and this measures 4 by 5.5 inches, so it's a matting size. And I was able to, by flipping them, cut 4 of these out, all from one piece of Whisper White. So now I've got these pieces and I've got my template. I'll bring my Stamparatus in. So all of that before was just getting set up. So from now on, all I have to do is cut these pieces here out of my ScanNCut. And like this, we'd only be using 2. And so the other 2 that I just cut out, I'll just put in with my stamp set and I can use them later. So I'm going to take my my template and I'm going to place it down here in my Stamparatus. And then each of these, the first thing I want to do is then place my stamp. And so my stamp is going to just set right down into that cut. And you're just going to kind of line it up inside that cut and then pick it up. So then I'll take my first one of these, and it's pretty easy by this curl to tell which direction these go. And I'll place it right down into my template. Just like that. I can then take my Memento ink, ink it up, and there you go. It's all stamped. And there it is all ready to go. we'll start the coloring of them. But the colors I used were the Granny Apple Green blends in light and dark, the Highland Heather light and dark, the dark Daffodil Delight, and the dark Balmy Blue. And so the dark Balmy Blue is actually just going to be these lined portions here. I'll cover one of each of everything, and then we'll do it real fast with speed it up. Then what I did was I came in and just kind of did the dark portions in the centers and at a base of these flowers, where it would be deeper in or shadowed. The daffodil was actually just for the butterflies. And then with the green, I came into with the dark on each of the leaves and along their leaf line. Then I came back with my two lighter colors and colored them in. And by kind of rubbing where they blend in with the darker, made them blend in real well. Just like that. And same thing with the purple, or the Highland Heather, I guess. Just kind of blended them in. Just like that. And then on the butterfly, I actually used the darker, use the darker of the, and when I want to get into these really tight little spots like that, I'll use the other end. It's a lot easier. Okay. So I'll be right back when I'm done coloring these other two, and we'll go on from there. Okay, we've got our coloring done, so let's start assembling the front of our card. I'm going to go ahead and fold my card in half. And I'm going to use the burlap background stamp. And I'm just going to leave it right here in its case. It's just an easy way of doing it. It does have a little bit of bounce to it, but that's okay. I'm going to, I'll use pressure to adjust that. And I'm inking it up with my Versamark. And I'll take the front of my card and place it directly down on it, just like that. And then just get a piece of scrap paper and press all around, and make sure you're pressing the whole thing. And just keep it right in the case. Makes it real easy. And there's our image. And that'll start to darken up as it dries a little bit. Get that out of the way. Sorry, I lost my other pieces here. Okay, so for the front of the card, you're going to attach the butterflies to the Granny Apple Green piece. That directly to the card. And I'll take one of those flourishes that I've got all colored, and on the back, I'm just going to put some adhesive in a couple of spots. Not sure exactly where I'm going to place these yet, so I'm just going to try and decide where I want them. So maybe one like that. And And then the second one right there like that. And then I'm going to want to put this up actually on the vellum, but I want it raised up. So I'm going to get my dimensionals. And put them here. And I want to get one for here, and I don't have my minis with me right at the moment, so I'm just going to snip off a piece. And then place this down onto my vellum, just like that. And then to place this on here and not have any of the adhesive show, I'm just going to turn it over and place right back in the exact same locations of my dimensionals before. And then place that on top. Get one of my butterflies. And it's up to you, but I'm going to double stack my little butterfly. So he is actually higher than my flourish. So I've double stacked them. And he's going to go here in the bottom corner, just like that. So now let's move to the inside of the card. On the inside of the card, I'm using the Incredible Like You stamp set. I love these sentiments and the fonts. I just think they pack a punch, and I like that. So I'm using the one that says, "Hope your day is as amazing as you." So this is the Granny Apple Green ink. I'm going to stamp that up here. Now, as you recall, I was talking about how things got a little busy here, and I decided I didn't like that. So here's how I solved that. I've got this paper. I've got my flourish, and you could stamp directly onto the cardstock and color, or you can do it this way and have it cut. If you don't have a ScanNCut, you probably want to well, not probably, you definitely want to stamp direct so that you're not fussy cutting. But we're going to put this guy here, and I'll trim off the bottom in a minute. But what's really neat about this paper is on the back side is a black and white. And because the black and white is here on the front, I thought, you know, that would be real pretty. And it's got the little dots here, so the little dots go along with it. So that's what we're going to do. And it's not quite so busy. So we'll place that down. And then get some of the double-sided tape. And you always want to put your tape onto your cardstock, not your ribbon, because your ribbon can move. Paper can't. And you're guaranteed to have a straight piece of ribbon this way. And place your ribbon. And then finally, you've got a little butterfly. I'll use some fast fuse and place him up here. And then that will go on the inside of this card. Oh, need to trim that little stem, don't I? There we go. And there you go. That one doesn't quite look as busy as that one, but I like them both. So there's a couple of tips, and I hope you enjoyed that edition of my videos, and comment with what you think of my projects. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.